Oh,
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. We are doing a cute, sweet little episode with Kelsey and me, just the two of us, and we're going to talk some fun holiday spirit type things and get you all in the mood for a nice, warm, and hopefully a little bit snowy Christmas. How are you doing, Kelsey?
Absolutely brilliant. I love the Christmas season. I'm one of those people that like right about the time Halloween is over, I would put up my Christmas tree if my husband would let me, but he does not because he's a reasonable human being.
Reasonable, down with the reasonable. I think it should be up in like July, so, fuck your husband. In a good way.
I will. No.
Yeah. Yeah, we all know that you will, Kelsey.
Yeah, shocker. Everybody's very surprised. I'm married, it's allowed.
That happens in a marriage? That's crazy.
Yeah, they don't tell you until you get married, like what comes after. It's great. It's all a very well kept secret.
Or it's maybe just something for naive people that don't really know much. I don't know.
Actually, I had this genius idea. Didn't dawn on me until this year. Every single year when my family and I were putting up the tree, we have this certain, like, my parents would always be like, you're the only child. You go figure out what music you want to listen to. And I took to this responsibility with like complete glee. Like we had a 6 CD changer and I had a plan for when we were going to go to each CD and which one we were going to listen to. And it was like, I had a plan, right? Everybody's shocked that I had the plan.
I am not shocked. Just in case anyone didn't pick up on the sarcasm in her voice, I am not shocked.
Guys, my life is run by lists and spreadsheets, and I like it that way. Anyways, there was one CD that was always the very first one that we listened to as we were putting up the Christmas tree, and it's Mannheim Steamroller, Christmas in the Air. I absolutely love it, and for the last like 3 years, I've been putting up the tree, and I've been telling Scott, like, hey, throw on some music while we're doing this, and Scott's like, what do you want me to put on? I'm like, I don't know, because I could never remember the name of the CD, so he just threw on something random, and it didn't feel right. Like, it always just kind of felt wrong. And then this year, finally, like, my brain just remembered that Mannheim Steamroller exists, and I'm like, and so I went and I found the right album, and the moment it started, I'm just like, this is what Christmas feels like, and I like Christmas joy like went through my whole body, and I'm like, yeah.
She's just raging out
like,
on Christmas drugs right then. She's roiding out.
Yeah, absolutely, like Christmas high came over me. So then my husband and I were gonna make Christmas cookies that night, and so I'm like, I am gonna introduce him to this because we've never listened to it together. This is joy. This is what joy sounds like. This is Christmas happiness, and I will deliver it to him, and he will feel great, and then we will be able to listen to this every year, and it will be perfect, right? Mm-hmm. So I throw this on, and he immediately is like, I don't like it. It sounds like it's making fun of Christmas and it's making fun of itself, and I don't like it, and it's not somber enough, and it's not happy enough, and I'm just like, I'm listening to all my Christmas songs like Crush and Die, and I'm just like, no, please, no. And he's like, I'll show you real Christmas music, and throw in like this heavy rock Christmas album, which I love heavy metal, and I love heavy metal Christmas, but this was quintessential, like, Christmas joy, and he just crushed it under his little Grinch feet, and I was so sad.
What is defined as heavy rock Christmas? I've never heard anything.
Oh my gosh, I'll send you links later, but there are all kinds of heavy metal groups that have done Christmas music, and it's fantastic. It's really good, and it's very intense and very fun. So I will send you links later. It's wonderful. Dear viewers, if you've never listened to any heavy metal Christmas, go find some. You're already on YouTube. I believe that you have searching skills. Go find some. It's worth your time.
Run off. You have your task now. Don't even watch the rest of this podcast.
Actually, maybe finish the rest of the podcast.
We don't want you here. Come on now.
But now I have a suggestion for any parents that I know whose kids are getting married. Like, as a gift, give them a copy of the CDs that they grew up, like, putting up holiday decorations to. That way, when it comes their time, when that first Christmas, they have the sounds that have always felt like Christmas to them, and they can start that tradition. Since I didn't start my marriage this way, now have a 15-year plan of wearing my husband down and making him like Mannheim Steamroller Christmas in the Air. I'm anticipating 5 years of him hating it, and I'm guessing right about the 6th year, the thing will start and he'll start humming it under his breath, and that's when I'll know. That's when I'll know that I've got him.
That is a very, very evil plan. Like,
15 years.
You just made a Christmas song seem evil. Like, what the heck?
No, I made me seem evil. There's a big difference.
Not very many people come up with an evil plan for Christmas songs.
I have to get him on my side. Christmas in the Air, Mannheim Steamroller. It is joy on wheels. It is amazing. And I need him on my side.
Kelsey.
15 years. I can wear him down over the course of 15 years. I believe in me.
Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you the struggles of being a cat mom? Can I tell you the struggles? Do you know?
Please. I am not one. Fill me in.
The struggles of being a cat mom is you have to give up the joy of going out and going into the snow and cutting down your own Christmas tree and bringing it back and putting it up in your place and decorating it all and having a wonderful time with the music. Because why, Kelsey? Because why?
The cats will knock it down?
Because the cats eat the pine needles and then they throw them.
What?
Yes. They eat them.
Why?
Because they can't help it. They can't. They want to ruin Christmas. No. They seriously... They'll either climb the tree, knock it over, or they'll eat the pine needles and throw it up, and then you have a mess to clean up all the time. It's like, okay, fine. I just won't get a Christmas tree. It has to be artificial.
Cats eat pine needles? I'm so baffled by this. What would possibly smell good to eat? Like, what?
Well, I mean, dogs eat their own poop, so is it always about smell?
That is a very solid point. Hopefully a solid point. I grossed myself out with my own poop joke.
I think your face when you grossed yourself out made me laugh more than the poop joke. I seriously think it did.
Oh my gosh. So cat parents have to get artificial trees then?
They don't have to. No. They either make the conscious choice to suffer through the consequences, or they give up on life and they get an artificial tree, like I do.
Give up on life. Okay.
I'm being dramatic. Christmas is my favorite holiday. I'm on the same page as you, Kelsey. I just want my Christmas tree. I could put it in a glass case.
And your cat.
Yeah, no. See, the cat isn't going, so it's just, I just suffer. But no, a lot of people deal with ornaments being knocked down and everything, so.
Now, do your cats knock down ornaments?
I do purposely buy ornaments that, I don't care if they break, but my cats don't, climb the tree or anything. No. But it's also not the biggest tree. I found this artificial tree in honky donk town for $1. Yeah.
Honky donk town? What? What is that?
A town of 1,000 people. Okay, it's just a small town. I'm a city girl. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I know. I just like the phrase honky donk, and I think we need to use it more often, specifically around Chris. I feel like it will upset him.
Honky donk town.
So definitely sounds like a place that Dylan came from.
Yeah, I think Dylan. That's about the city. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay.
I should say village, not city. But yeah, no, they were selling an artificial tree for $1, and the lights came on and everything. Yeah, so I was like,
that's a good deal. Well done.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, so. But
the accountant in you was very happy, wasn't it?
It was a little bit, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got like I've got one thing that I have to do every single Christmas, like
Mm-hmm.
without fail. And to me, this is like I live currently, for the viewers who don't know this, I currently live really far away from my parents, and so I think I've seen them for probably two Christmases in like 8 years. Like I don't see them for Christmas very often. And so when I'm not seeing them, I am super lucky because I have all kinds of friends and like now my in-laws and stuff like that. And I'm more than welcome at all of their places for Christmas. And it's wonderful. And they've always been really great to say, hey, like, do you have any traditions that you always do that you'd like to introduce us to? And I only have
Aw.
one tradition that we do every year. And we actually do it on both Christmas Day and New Year's Day. And I absolutely love it. And it's probably going to sound gross to most people, but every year we would get up and we would have smoked Alaskan salmon and like cream cheese and crackers, and that
What?
would be our breakfast, along with along with a mimosa, basically. And that was every single Christmas morning and New Year's Eve morning or New Year's morning, and it was absolutely fantastic. And I cannot find any smoked salmon near my house. I've been looking for 2 days. I have been at the shop. I hate shopping. I've been shopping for 2 days in a row looking for it, and I'm really upset because I want some for Christmas and I don't have any.
Can I interject something?
Yes.
Smoked salmon and mimosas
Uh-huh.
together?
Yes. I get that it may not sound delicious. I understand that. It's a flavor that says holiday to me now. And now that I think about it, no, if I hadn't grown up with trying that, I'd probably be disgusting.
Thank you. Like, I mean, I could handle
It's
just
delicious.
smoked salmon and
Uh-huh.
cream cheese. Like, I could handle just that. I could handle just mimosas. But you put the two together. You put the two.
Well, I mean,
You just
you don't
squished
swirl
it
them
together.
around in your mouth at the same time. It's not like, all right, I ate that, now let me chug this to go
Yeah, but
after it.
you're pairing the two like it's a fine steak to put wine with. You're like,
I mean, that's a solid point.
oh my god.
So maybe nobody needs to copy me on this one, but for me, that is what I do every single year. Do you have a tradition like that?
Oh, what do I do every single year? I would say the biggest well, we don't have like a big thing, my family, besides every morning while we're in our PJs, the stockings have to be opened. It can't be you are dressed and ready to open presents. It has to be you wake up, stockings get opened, and you get to see what's in your stockings, and then you have to take your shower, get dressed, and then do presents. Like, that's the standard tradition that we've always had.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. See,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't even do stockings very often, and we definitely didn't like pause gift opening to take showers and then come back to finish gift opening. Like that sounds like a lot of interruption of the fun part.
I think it was like my mom's way of making sure we were ready to go and there wasn't distractions. You know, because we go to family right after our own
Hmm.
Christmas present opening. So if we're wanting to open our presents, you're gonna get ready, and then you're gonna get to open the presents, and then we leave right away to go to family. So
Okay.
yeah,
That was probably an effective way of like making sure the kids got to open something when they woke up because that probably just feels right.
yeah.
But she really needed you guys to like get through the process. And if you're distracted by toys, I can understand how you wouldn't actually get through
Yeah.
the process of getting ready.
That and like I don't know, she's always recording something, so it's like, well, we gotta look our best. Can't look like we just roll out of
Always
bed.
recording something?
Like when my mom or my dad would be recording the Christmas opening presents or whatever. Yeah.
Oh. And your family all wanted to look cute for that.
No, well,
Adorable.
not specifically my parents. They would avoid camera at all costs, but
But you wanted to look cute for that.
don't we all? No.
It's never dawned on me to record gift opening.
Really?
I have never done that. My parents haven't either. It was never a thing we did.
It seems like just a normal thing it's funny how within your family it feels normal. Like it was just something we always did. Well, there's the best time though that got recorded though because they did that. When I got a cell phone, uh, I was pretty sure I'd be getting it for Christmas. And they were recording this, and my sister's dumbass face got caught on the camera because they started calling it. It was ringing the tree, and at first both were like, what's that sound? What's that sound? I don't know where it's going. It's like, and then all of a sudden it hit me, and I was like, oh, I was all excited. And she's looking at me, she's like, what's going on? Like, she's like, and it kept ringing, and I'm just like, ah! I'm like freaking out, and she's like, I don't get it, and I don't why
I don't get
why
it.
is the tree ringing? Why is the tree ringing? And I'm like, I got a cell phone. She's like, oh, and then her jealous face went on. But no, recording her reaction to not understanding the situation was one of the best Christmas moments ever.
Oh, that sounds absolutely fantastic, actually. That would be worth recording for.
Right. There's like moments you just don't know you're going to get.
So I didn't have any siblings, so we didn't record a lot of things, and even if we did, I was never like, this is never going to get used against me, right? Because, I've always been me. Well, when I went to college, I'm an only child. I went to college, I found people, and I'm like, you are now my siblings, I'm adopting you. And they went, you are also my sibling, I'm adopting you. And so I now have a brother and a sister, at least one. I think I actually have like two that I call my sister that are like best friends of mine from college. And I'm an aunt to their kids and all kinds of good stuff. Like we've held on to this sibling thing. And when I brought both of these siblings back to meet my parents to be like, hey, I have brought you children that you didn't have to raise. Treat these as your own. One of the first things my mother did, and I felt so betrayed, she did the same thing when I introduced her to my now husband, is she went, oh, let me show you all these home videos of Kelsey. And I'm like, what home videos of me? And she has all of these videos of me being like, really sassy and bratty and like super confident and convinced that I'm right about stuff. And she's like, look, she's always been this way. And I'm like, oh God, oh, kill me now. And she legitimately did the whole like go through old photo books and like show my like now husband photos of me as a small child, like with a bruised lip and a black eye because I fell off a swing, and like crying because somebody took away my washcloth. And like,
can we discuss this washcloth thing?
It was. Hey, I don't remember it, but I was very upset.
Is that all you had growing up was a washcloth?
You would think it was true by the way I was crying about it, because, man, small children, logic.
Yeah.
Does not work.
True.
Now, did you ever have any really great presents that, like, you got your parents or you got your siblings or anything like that?
That I got or give someone else?
I was actually asking about things that you got someone else, but if you remember anything that you're like, nah, this was the best and it was given to me, that's fine.
I have, well, the best that was given to me was when Santa brought me a letter. And this letter said, you are getting a kitten for Christmas. So I got to pick out with my parents a kitten. It was my first cat ever. And so they didn't bring it for me. They knew I would want to pick it out. But the funny part is that when I was reading this letter, and this is back when I believed in Santa Claus. Oh, wait. That may need to be cut. I don't know who watches this. Anyways.
Yeah. Parent alert. There will be discussions of all things Santa Claus.
Yeah. I really hope young kids don't watch this.
Young kids should not probably be watching this. We don't talk about stuff that's appropriate for you. Go find a different channel.
Anywho, I was reading it and I was like, hey, this is the paper that Dad has under the printer. And he's like, really? Because it was pink. It was like specific pink paper. And I was like, Dad, did you write this? And he's like, no, of course not. was like, but this is your paper. Is Santa Claus not real? And I had a whole freak out moment, and they had to explain that Santa Claus was still real. And then they shattered my heart like a few years later when they told me it was all a lie. But yeah, no, it was. I almost found out Santa Claus wasn't real that day.
Can you imagine your parents panic because they're like, we are not ready for this. We didn't prepare a speech. We have no plan for what she's going to tell her siblings. Oh, crap. What do we do? And they're just like, no. Totally real. Totally real. Totally real. Shut up. Totally real.
They kicked themselves in the butt so much for using that paper. Like...
Oh, man. The one time that you were observant and you... That's fantastic.
The one
Kelsey,
time. The one and only time.
Literally the one and only time. I know I'm getting yelled at for this. Don't worry. I'm aware. Mm-hmm. Feel free to yell. Mm-hmm. I think I figured out the truth about Santa Claus. I was very young. I don't even know if I was in first grade yet. And I watched, my parents ordered a bunch of toys from the internet. And I watched this gigantic box come in, and it said, like, it wasn't Toys R Us. It was some kind of, like, it was clearly a toy thing. And its gigantic box came, and I was like, can I open that? And my mom was like, no. Like, it's November 30th. And she's like, uh-huh. And I'm like, is that for me? And she's like, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm like, I think I know exactly what's going on here. And I walked away. And when I opened the first thing on Christmas, it had that same logo that was on the outside of the box. And I looked at my mom like, Santa isn't real. And she's like, no, he is not. And I'm like, you buy all the presents? She's like, yes. And I'm like, do all the kids know this? And she's like, no, they don't. You keep your mouth shut. I'm like, can do. And I opened the rest of my presents with like joy and glee.
You had the exact opposite of what I went through.
I did. I knew, and my parents weren't going to lie to me. They were more than happy. And like, I was on the in crowd at that point because she's like, a lot of other kids don't know. Don't spoil it for them. And I'm like, of course, you're trusting me with this grave responsibility. I can't let these small children know. It'll ruin the wonder of Christmas for them. And I took my responsibilities very seriously.
Wow.
I did.
Wow. See, you were joyous and happy afterwards. I was absolutely devastated when I was told. I'm not kidding. And okay, so here's why I was probably more devastated. I'm fucking gullible. Okay, I believe.
Well, so am I.
You are? Okay, but, well, I felt like I just believed but you questioned it. I never questioned it. I was like, my parents are telling me the truth. They are 100% being honest with me, and I could not believe them. They're being truthful to me. And so when they sat down and they told me that Santa Claus wasn't real, I had so much anger and resentment towards them that I cannot even explain to you. Because I had a fight with some some guy on the bus.
No, call an 8-year-old a loser. Do it.
I'm still upset about it. I had a fight with some asshole on the bus that was telling me that Santa Claus wasn't real. And I was like, no, sir. Santa Claus is real. You're wrong. My parents said that he is real. And so I was not very happy with my parents after that.
Well, yeah, you'd staked your 8-year-old reputation on him being real, and they had doubled down on it. Like, you had questioned them, and they had told you, no, he absolutely is real. Like, that, I think, is the major difference here. If my parents had doubled down and confirmed, like, Santa is definitely real, I think I would have believed them.
Right.
And then I would have been much more upset when they came back later and was like, FYI, we totally lied to you for the fun of it.
Yeah. I think that's the major difference. Yeah. Moral of the story. Tell your kids the truth after they ask, not before. Lie first, repent later, but don't lie for too long.
Will you lie to your kids about Santa when you eventually have them? Neither one of us has kids, just in case anybody's curious.
Right. I have like really struggled with that because I was, like I said, I was so upset. I have internally struggled with that decision. I think that the magic and the experience and the fun and the joy I had when I believed Santa Claus was real is something that I don't ever want to not have. But when I found out the truth, it's something that I would never want to put a kid through. So it's like...
I'm so sorry this scarred you. It's hilarious, but I am truly sad for your drama.
Well, I mean, think about my personality, Kelsey. I don't like being lied to. So
You do not.
It's like it was a with my personality. Maybe it's just a bad situation for me personally. Maybe it wouldn't feel like that way for someone else. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true.
So.
I think I'm going to take my parent stance of I'm going to let the lie exist until, like, I'm not going to perpetuate the lie. I'm not going to tell them things are from Santa and stuff like that and try to make them believe that Santa is his own separate person. And if they ask, I will be completely honest with them. Like, I don't think I'm going to perpetuate this idea. But I don't know. We'll see. If I actually am holding a small child and I'm looking at him like, you need to believe in Santa Claus. It's funny. We'll see what I do. Who knows?
Honestly, I feel like that's the best way. I create a story with it, but then at some point as a kid, they may ask, right? Or is it when at the point that they're asking, then that's when they're creating a sense of self and are starting to question things. So they may not ask until the point that they're ready. Because kids usually just believe what they're told.
There was a whole interesting study done on personalities in children, and it was really interesting about the fact that, like, who can tell a lie and who can't. And it had to do with, like, the ultimate conclusions were the kids that have the most outgoing personality. So basically the entertainers, those are the ones who are going to hold to the lie in spite of pressure and stuff like that. And one of the ways that they showed this is they took a bunch of siblings actually, and they secretly, like, with the parents' approval, they broke to each one of them like, hey, Santa Claus isn't real kind of thing. Or they, like, asked them on camera, like, do you think Santa is real? And all of the kids said no, except for the entertainer. And the entertainer knew that Santa wasn't real. But the one kid that was, like, the class clown kind of thing, he was like, I'm not going to break. I'm absolutely going to, like, I'm going to, like, wholeheartedly confirm Santa's real for all the kids out there. Santa's real. He never broke. And they found that those were the kids that were able to hold the lie longest. And they were the ones that were also caused the most trouble in class. It was pretty interesting.
Well, I mean, that makes a little sense, though, because you have to be, in order to do a good story, you kind of maybe have to elaborate a little bit and just hold to what you're doing.
That's a good point. I want your opinion. I need to be vindicated here. All right. Elaboration when you're telling a story. Valuable, or does it completely make the story totally irrelevant because you're no longer telling the exact truth the way it happened? What's your opinion? I may be slightly biased.
Are you actually asking my opinion, or are you being sarcastic?
I'm actually asking your opinion.
So I think there's a beauty to telling stories, and normal life can be super boring. So I do think, like, elaboration and embellishing is needed, but you have to be careful with the line you walk and not cross lines where you shouldn't lie about stuff. It's a really hard line to
walk. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think there's a difference between embellishment and straight up lying. And it's the difference between I caught a 9-inch fish versus I caught a 10-inch fish versus, like, there's a place for embellishment to allow for good storytelling if that's the purpose of what you're doing. My mom and I both embellish stories just a little bit for the purpose of entertainment, to get the laughs, because we're trying to entertain people. My husband and my dad are both the people that will go, it wasn't a 10-inch fish, it was a 9-inch fish. It wasn't 10 in the morning, it was 8 in the morning. And they will interrupt our fantastic stories to inform people it was 8 in the morning. This was our first time being to Canada, not our second time being to Canada. And I'm always like, this is irrelevant to the amazing story that I'm creating. And from their perspective, it is now an irrelevant story and totally just completely inaccurate if you change these small details.
Very logical. Very logical in a sense.
Very logical. I am a logical person, and I call bullshit.
Well, you're a logical person, but you're an entertainer, and entertainers know that the minute details are not the stuff that people always want to know.
No, that is not what makes or breaks the story. Interrupting me to be like, it was 10 in the morning, not 9 in the morning, that can break the story. My personal opinion. I've had many an argument on this, and so I am careful when I tell a story around either my husband or my father. To not embellish, or I will get interrupted. It's really fun, actually, when it happens to other people that are trying to entertain me with their stories and their spouses are interrupting them to be like, no, 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 no. It was 10 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, God, just shut up and let them tell the story. I'm fine if small details are wrong. I don't care. I want to be entertained.
No one cares if it was 10 in the morning, 9 in the morning, 7. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I don't feel your pain. I don't feel your pain, but I think it's funny.
I like how you choked exactly halfway through that.
I did. I actually did choke, kind of, though. My throat got really dry right there, so
Please don't die.
It wasn't on purpose to, like...
You're not really feeling my pain?
No.
It's so intense. Sorry, I got weird there. I apologize.
One thing I noticed, though, I lived in Texas for a year, and I found out very quickly that I love the heat. But I also found out on Christmas Day, the only thing that I want is snow on Christmas. Like, fresh, white snow covered the ground with Christmas lights and the Christmas tree and presents and cookies and just the warmth of your family and friends is the best thing I personally feel you can experience in a year for any holiday. Like, I love that feeling.
God, I agree with you. That is absolutely fantastic. I grew up in the Northwest and I didn't realize how much I missed it. But when I went back there during the winter, I currently live in the Midwest, and the Midwest does not have evergreens, or it doesn't have nearly as many evergreens as where I grew up. And Christmas, where I grew up, with all of these pine trees, just pine trees and fir trees, and covered in snow. It is so unbelievably Christmas card beautiful.
Wow.
And it, like, the green all winter long, I didn't realize how important that was until I was in the Midwest for winters, and it's just brown and white as opposed to green and white, and it's a huge difference, and it makes me so sad. And when I went back a couple of years ago to see my family for Christmas and it was evergreens covered in snow, I was like, I'm just going to sit outside and I'm going to drink my spiked hot chocolate and we're going to have a great time.
Your heart must have just melted.
Oh,
it's like a feeling of home. Like,
even flying in and seeing the green and white all around, like even just the airport, it was like, oh, this is what Christmas is supposed to look like. This feels so good. Oh,
Kelsey, don't make those sounds.
oh.
We'll grab sound.
I'm on the internet. I should stop making those sounds. It finally dawned on me what it sounded like. Sorry, everybody.
Don't worry. All the guys now are paying complete attention.
No, they are not. They are walking it off somewhere else. Not thinking about this.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, so I think that Wisconsin's beautiful in Christmas time, but now that you're talking about where you're from and what it looks like I could see that being even more better for Christmas.
Someday I want to take you and the other, there's a breezy behind the scenes for Dead Funny as well, and take you guys actually back to where I grew up for Christmas, because I think, or a New Year's or something like that, because I think you would see how beautiful it was and how different it was, and I would love to introduce you to that, just because I think it'd be fun for you and us, and we'd have a great time and have more spiked hot chocolate.
I mean, you're gonna be eventually possibly moving out there, so right? So when
hopefully,
you have your
that's
house
the plan.
there, hit me up with that invite.
Yeah,
that hot invite.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I'll chase you down and hurt you.
It'll take years, but when we get out there, absolutely.
Yeah, but no, I think it'd be really fun. I've been through where you live before, where you're from.
Yeah.
Going to your wedding. I think that's when I went
Mhm.
through there, right? Or
No, you went to a different wedding. You
oh, it was a
actually
different
flew
one.
to my wedding. That was the first time you
That's
flew.
right. Yes. Look at what you did to me.
I did. Hey, you've done it since and you liked it, right?
So I've regressed a little.
Still scared, back to being scared. Now think I'm gonna die.
Uh, I don't know. Okay, so like the first time I went, we were coming back, I think. Horrible turbulence. And that is something I don't want to really ever experience again. And it's not even turbulence that means you're gonna crash or anything, but I don't know. Multiple times of flying, I've just let the fear run with me or something. I've tried to control it, but just the possibility of a plane going down would be my worst fear ever. I just don't want to die from heights, okay? It's just not my thing. It's not what I'm meant to do. It's it's
I'm
not.
sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I just like your whole, I don't want to die from heights specifically. It is not what I am meant to do.
No.
Oh, man.
If I ever die from heights, you will know that I was not happy with what happened.
You were extremely unhappy. And not because you died, specifically because heights
Just
were involved
because
in the
it was
death.
heights.
I will mention that in the obituary. She flew, she died, she was really upset.
Okay, enough talking about my obituary, please.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's go back to Christmas. Holiday cheer. Cheeriness.
Cheery holiday. Do you have, like, a funny, obviously, but do you have a funny worst Christmas ever story? Or, like, worst holiday ever?
Worst holiday ever.
I have
Why
one,
don't you start
and it's
with
not
it so I can think of mine?
Christmas.
Oh,
It's not
worst
Christmas, it's
holiday
Thanksgiving.
ever. Okay.
Yeah, it can, just because I don't, like, all of my Christmases honestly have been pretty dang idyllic. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really blessed and lucky, and I want to be honest about that. So the worst holiday I've ever had was actually, it was with Cody and Mandy. We were having a Friendsgiving, and they were hosting it at their house. And Cody, for those of you who haven't figured it out, Cody's a great cook, and he loves it. And we actually have a couple of people in our group of friends that are really, really good cooks. And we were all together. We have a group of 8 of us that are really close from college, and 4 married couples. We were all at his house, and he and Mandy had just spent hours and hours taking this gigantic turkey and like basically soaking it in butter while it cooked and then flipping it over it and soaking it in butter while it cooked. And just like, this was an incredibly moist and very buttery turkey, and it was amazing.
Oh my god. Can we not use the word moist for turkey? Like, is that possible?
Moist. Okay, that bothered me too.
Yeah, okay, like it's turkey. Come on now. We don't want to.
It's supposed to be like wet? Is that better?
Yes, we know that you like wet things, like floppy bacon.
We are not bringing my bacon preferences into this.
Moist turkey.
It's
just
fantastic.
So wrong. You're just so wrong, Kelsey.
Well, do you want dry turkey? That sounds terrible.
I don't, but I am associating you with floppy bacon now, so I'm just like using.
I mean, I am a floppy bacon person. That's where I land on that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we all had a great time, and it was absolutely fantastic. The only problem was there were 2 dogs with us, and all the bits of the turkey that we had to peel off for whatever reason, skin, things like that, ended up in the trash can. The dogs knocked over the trash can and ate everything and turned it into pukesgiving. For the next day, every time we turned around, a dog was vomiting. It's like, where's Bombadil? He's literally puking right next to me. Where's Kaylee? There she is. She's puking on your child. Like, these dogs just puked everywhere for the next 2 days.
And then they probably ate each other's puke and everything. Like,
I mean, we don't need to quite go into that, but it was pukesgiving because, man, those dogs were just ugh. And that was the last major holiday event that they were both at. Because that was disgusting.
That's bad. That's Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yep, that is my worst Thanksgiving ever. Or worst holiday ever. So as you can tell, I've lived a very good life.
Right. I mean, that's the worst one, right?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
I think that mine are pretty much like that. Like I don't like because my family's pretty good. There's nothing that's like super horrible whenever we go. The worst thing I've had happen to me on a holiday was I ended up actually not I don't know what they would call fainting. I fainted, and this happened because I was cutting something with a knife, and somehow I was cutting towards me. Don't do this at home, kids. Don't do it at home. I was cutting towards
No.
me, and the knife went through the middle of my thumb finger and pointer finger and into, I think, maybe like a small vein or artery or something. Nothing that would like kill me, right? Because it's my hand. But it poked right into it, and I pulled it out, and I'm like, oh, I just like stabbed myself.
Were you really that calm? As, oh, I stabbed myself.
Well,
Or was it a little bit more amped, maybe?
no. It was really calm because it was just my hand. I was like, it's just my hand. You know? I was like, okay, it's just that.
Uh-huh.
But then I'm looking at it and I'm like, I can feel it kind of gushing inside. And
Oh.
then I looked at my mother,
Oh no.
who's
Gushing is bad.
but nothing's coming out of the hole. So you know how you have like skin in between what's in there.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just like, it's okay. And so I look at my mother. I'm like, Mom, I can't die from stabbing myself in the hand, right? She's like, no. I'm like, okay. I turn around, walk over to the sink, start washing it, and all of a sudden, and I've never, ever in my life had anything like this ever. I've not fainted. I've not done anything like that at the sight of blood or anything. But I have also never broken anything or experienced or been stabbed to know what would happen if I did experience that type of thing. It's a good thing having been
Thank
stabbed.
heaven you haven't been stabbed.
so, so I'm just looking at it and I'm like, I think I'm maybe starting to feel dizzy. Oh my God. And I walk over to my mom. I sit down on the chair and I'm like, Mom. And all of a sudden, my consciousness just fell to the back of my head. Blood went whoosh down my whole body. And I just like, the last thing I thought was fall towards your mother. So I fall to the right and she catches me. And all I can hear is them talking. Is this not having consciousness, but hearing things really quietly is the scariest thing I have ever experienced. It's like I'm dying but not dying. I can't move my body. I can't move my face. I can't do anything but listen to them go, is she okay? What's going on? And finally, blood goes back. I can move. I can do everything. I'm like, holy shit. It was the weirdest experience I've ever had.
Oh, that's so interesting. It sounds like you went into shock.
Uh, so my mom explained it and said that basically could have been shock. Basically, the pressure changed, and my body wasn't used to it because I did stab something, and
Yeah.
my body with probably my mental thought process of, oh, maybe I could be impacted, and the pressure change went, fuck, something's wrong. Blood goes from your head to your heart, and
And you just went
and
right
I
down.
lose consciousness.
Oh man. Now, question for you. Have you
Mhm.
given blood or anything like since
I
this
have.
happened?
No, not since.
No issues?
Not since. But I gave blood before that. I given blood
So,
before.
so there's this really weird thing that happens. You basically have this like instinctual trigger inside your brain that it can flip at some point in your life. So we've all heard about people like give blood and like pass out, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I've heard about these people, and I will be totally honest. I've heard about these people and always been like, psh, weaklings, right? Like, come on.
Right.
Well, there's an instinctual trigger in your brain that basically goes, I'm losing blood, and then like panics and can do all kinds of things from shut down your veins
That's
to
what
actually have
happened.
you pass out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nifty thing. I got once this gets triggered in your brain, it actually is almost impossible to shut off. And so I went on, they did a diabetes test on me once, FYI. I don't have diabetes. But if you've never had a diabetes test, they make you drink a really sugary drink really fast, and then they just keep stabbing you with needles and drawing blood. Never had an issue before this. But this particular day, every time I saw the vial start filling with blood, something went wonky in my brain. I got kind of lightheaded, and then I shut my body actually shut the vein down. Like they literally just
What?
couldn't get, yeah, they could not get blood out of it. So they had to stop there and search somewhere else. So by the time I left that day, they had probably stabbed me 40 times up and down my arms because they had to get a certain amount of blood from me, and they couldn't because my brain kept shutting it down. So now if I ever give blood, I can't watch, because if I watch, I will pass out, because that little instinctual trigger in my brain has been flipped, and it's almost impossible to flip back. So the people that pass out aren't weaklings, even though I feel like one every time they're like, "Can I draw blood?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but stare at a wall because apparently I'll pass out." And they're like, "That's okay. That happens to some people." I'm like, "Yeah, I just don't want it to be me." And they're like, "Okay, you clearly have issues that we're not going to be able to fix. You just stare at the wall."
Right. Yeah. You think
So FYI, you may not be able to give blood without getting woozy.
maybe
Just
from now
prepare
on,
for it.
I don't know. Well, oh, wait, whoa. After that, I did have blood drawn. Yeah, I did, actually.
And were you okay?
Yeah, I was fine. I did forget that I did have that happen. Unless I'm...
Did you get woozy?
Unless I'm remembering the timing wrong. But no, I don't... But the thing is when people draw my blood, I don't look at it.
Look at it. See if you pass out. Report back.
Yeah, I always choose not to look at it because there's something about people pulling blood from me that just, like, makes me cringe. I'm like, no.
Yeah, we may need to put a trigger warning on this particular episode.
They're like, we thought this was Christmas.
It was, and then we talked about giving blood, and it just went from there.
Well, my story did relate to Christmas. Well,
it did.
Holidays.
Mine did not.
It related to holidays. Never mind. It was Thanksgiving. I lied. I forgot.
If you pass out while you're giving blood, you're not a weakling. Just FYI, I don't think you're a weakling.
I feel like
I used to. I don't anymore.
Like this is a good way to end. To be like, we talked about giving blood. Go to your local place and donate some blood. Do it for the
That's
holidays.
exactly what you should do. That is a perfect place to end. Let's end it here.
So, if you like this video, hit us up with a like and a super big smile. And we want to say happy holidays from Dead Funny. We hope you enjoy this content, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.